Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
Because access to our money will move in the bank.
POS operator, she said 3,000 is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the taunting. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
Because access to our money will move in the bank.
POS operator, she said 3,000 is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the taunting. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
You on ATN's Open Conversation, everyone, and it's time to have some open conversation. And you know how we do it. ATN Open Conversation is a network's flagship platform through which trending political news, events, and stories are discussed with stakeholders. Now, through these conversations, ATN uses political talks about specific issues, party system, and actors to explore hope and engender positive impact to our society. Now, first point of call today is on ministerial screening. The Senate receives an additional 19 ministerial nominees. And council formation, we will be looking at 19 nominees make President Tinubu's ministerial supplementary list. And of course, on council formation still, PDP APC bicker over Governor Alia Commissioner's list. And on council formation still, Tinubu hype men missing in supplementary ministerial list. And then we go to Ministerial Niger coup, ECOWAS defense chiefs sit back, and we'll be back to you because we have two gentlemen in the studio and they're all dressed in open conversation blue, if you know what I mean. We have Jerry Omaz, and then we have Amos Atindiga. Stay with us. We'll be back to you for open conversation after the break.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
Because access to our money will move in the bank.
POS operator, she said 3,000 is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth.
Obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the taunting. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
Because access to our money will move in the bank.
POS operator, she said 3,000 is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the taunting. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
Because access to our money will.
And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter.
All right, welcome back to ATN Open Conversation. I'd like to quickly introduce our very own Omas Jerry, but his name is actually Omas Songoa Jerry. Good to have you on ATN Open Conversation.
Yeah, thank you very much, and glad to be here.
Are you sure that's the only thing you wanted to say? Did I get your name correct?
Yes, you get it.
And then we'll have
70% correct. but it's a pass mark, yeah.
Okay, good. At least that could give me access to students' loan.
Maybe. I don't know if you're a student because you're working here already.
But you know, this if you're a student, so no. But we also have on the show the Reverend Gentleman. He is Amos Atindiga. Good to have you on ATN Open Conversation today.
Thank you for having me.
Omaz, did they say if you're a student? I just remembered what you said right now, national TV. Did they say if you're working and you're a student, you cannot get the loan?
Students have class now. I thought that loan is just for undergraduate, not people like you right now. But your other guest, you talked about billion. I didn't hear that right now.
Let's talk about ministerial screening. So we've had a lot play out, but yesterday the Senate has received additional 19 ministerial nominees. This is coming after the upper chamber concluded the screening of the earlier 28 nominations sent to it by President Tinubu. Now, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, who unveiled the 19 ministerial nominees submitted to him, read out the names as contained in the correspondent letter submitted by Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila. Rotimi Adewuye reports that former governors Boyega Oyetola of Osun State, Simon Lalong of Plateau State, Abubakar Bagudu of Kebbi State, and Bello Matawali of Zamfara State were announced by the Senate President. The Senate have also adjourned the plenary and screening of the 19 nominated persons to Friday, 4th August.
Further to my earlier correspondence dated 27th day of July 2023, I am pleased to forward to you the underlisted 19 ministerial nominees for confirmation by the Senate. Ahmed Tijani Kwazo, Bosun Tijani, Dr. Miriam Shetty, Dr. Isiak Salako, Dr. Tunji Alauza, Dr. Yusuf Tango Sununu, His Excellency Adeboyeka Oyetola, His Excellency Atiku Bakudu.
Okay, we are in a different phase of the ministerial nominee. Let me start with you, Jerry. The 19 names that's been submitted, we're expecting 13 or 14 names, but we got 19. Well, let's get to have you react to that.
Okay. You know, it is the wish of the president to do what he needs to do best to save this country. And if you remember the situation we find ourselves right now, we need all hands to be on deck to make sure that things go well. And like some bookmakers were saying, that it will make a record history of having the highest minister. But if you ask me, does having the highest minister translate to having success in the system? Maybe time shall tell. But as it stands right now, more hands on deck, and maybe he wants to get out of this situation we find ourselves fast, so he need more hands to come up to see how they could put in to make sure that...
Let me come to you, Reverend Atindiga. The situation before us somehow questions a lot of rationale in these appointments. So at a time when governments across the world are cutting down on governance and the cost of governance as a case, appointing more ministers or presenting names of ministerial nominees more than what it is. And of course, when his chief of staff presented the first list before the supplementary, he did mention that the president is trying to create more ministries. What do you think we are going to achieve with all of this, and looking at the categories of individuals in this list?
Personally, I really do not know where to begin from, but I believe, like some people say, maybe it's too early to begin to judge or express reservations and all that. But then, there is how I have a lot of questions to raise on it, because Our problem has never been inadequate manpower where the running of government in Nigeria is concerned. And so creating more ministries, bringing in more ministers and all that, I don't think is really our number one problem right now. I don't think that should have been the most important thing. Well, I just see it as maybe this is another way of settling more political allies and cronies by way of creating a ministry to give everyone appointment who matters in the scheme of things. Otherwise, I don't see why the ministries and departments we have right now in the country are enough to actually run the country effectively if we know what we are doing and want to be sincere with ourselves. So it now brings us back to the same things everyone is complaining about, where it is easier to impose hardship on already suffering masses and make life more difficult for them and tell them to make sacrifices and inconvenience themselves in some way because we are looking forward to better days. So why is it difficult for those who are in authority to actually say, okay, we need to also cut down on some of these excesses? We need to reduce the number, you see, because we are only creating more mouths in places of authority to consume, not necessarily places. Why the masses keep shrinking and shrinking on when you say, oh, he sent in more names. It is not so that the work can be done faster or easier or better. It is just to create more avenues for people who are political cronies to be settled. And I think I do not find it very interesting.
Well, I ask in mathematics that if you have like 2 plots of land and it takes 10 people, or let's say 2 people, to clear it for 1 month, how long will it take, let's say, 10, 15 people? And at first, the president said he wants to follow that recommendation where collapsing some ministry, bringing them together. But
we represent. You and I know that this thing does not make any sense because, you see, like the example you just gave now, maybe it will require if the job that would have taken 5 people, or 10 people
for 1 month,
1 month, 30 people assembling them. When you are looking